Okay guys, just running a quick audio test to see how the audio is working. Okay guys, just running a quick... Perfect. So let me, well, perfect as in good enough. Okay, get that there. Good to go, good. I think everything is good. I wish I could adjust the chat a little different, but it doesn't look like I can do the chat adjustments. Okay. I'm just seeing what other cool. I don't know what this is, so I don't know what that is either. Okay, so we should be good. So I hope everyone is having a wonderful day on this, I believe it's Sunday. Whoa. Gimbal got, I bumped it. So, what I was saying is hope everyone's having a good Sunday. So, me, not too bad. Enjoying things so far. So I'll go out here and we are gonna go feed the chickens and everything. Today we're just gonna talk a little bit about just late summer, why we should be thinking about late summer this time of year, and what late summer means. So what late summer means is we usually have the storms are usually crazier this time of year. So it's kind of like early spring. So when we have storms come in, they're more delusion rain. So it also, because of where I live in West Virginia, if a hurricane runs up the East Coast, we're going to probably get weather from that. So it depends on how far it comes inward, how intense that weather becomes, but we're usually going to get some type of weather because of that. Let's start with the bunnies today and then work our way. Actually, we're going to start with Sylvia because I can see that she is already over there waiting. So let's get Sylvia's feed. So what that means is if there's fall projects that we need to work on. So it just means we get to start on fall projects and we need to plan around the weather. So we need to pay attention to what's happening up above us and such like that. Yeah, Sonny, it's not like I don't have to worry like you guys do down in Florida, because you guys have lots of crazy weather. You know, folks in Florida, folks in the Carolinas, that kind of stuff. You guys just always have to worry about stuff like that. I just have to worry about the outskirts of rain, because sometimes we will get some weird large amounts of rain coming from that. So but Sylvia is hungry, so we're going to address Sylvia first, and then we will go and we'll work on some of the other important things that need to get done today. So thinking about weather. Also be aware that because of where we are now in September, that we are it's a little over a month before we will start seeing crazy cold temperatures and snow. So these are times that we really about any late season projects that we want to work on and such like that. This is the time to think about the late season projects and such like that. So by the way, guys, I don't know if you've ever seen these before. These are called jewel reed or touch me nots. The reason they're called touch me nots is not necessarily because of negative reasons, but let's see if I can zoom in. There is some right there. Let's see if I can get that centered. Okay, so see this pod right here? one's not that one's not going to do it. The wind blew, so most of the really ready to go touch me nots are not quite ready. Let's see, how about this one? So I'll show you the trick. I'll force this one to do it. So what happens is they curl up and they shoot seeds everywhere. So that's why they're called touch me nots. But jewelweed is the other name for it. These guys are really, bees love them. The coolest trick about touch me nots, though, is that you crush up the leaves and the stalks, and it will help combat poison ivy or poison oak or poison sumac. So touch me nots has a lot. It's also decent on burns. So it's really, really juicy on the inside, so you can deal with it like that. So that's another good perk of having touch me nots. And there's no harm to them. They don't actually hurt. They're not invasive. Really easy to pull up in your weeds if you just happen to not like where they're growing. I think they're cool because they just make they're just pretty. They make a nice orange thing. And the ducks and such don't mind them. The rabbits will eat them a little bit. So I don't know. My lemon trees that I started from seeds, all doing very well. So combination of some with the little greenhouses and some without greenhouses, just to see what the difference is. And they are all doing interestingly well. Okay, we got Sylvia fed. I said let's go to the bunnies next. So let us head over into the bunnies and let's get them fed. Silly gimbal. I need to address that. Norm B, welcome. I'll set you guys here for just a second so I can grab the I need to grab the feed and all that kind of stuff. I want to see. I did this last time. I'm curious. Oh, I had to do it the other way. Now, the big question is, did I remember to leave the scooper in here? I did. So I did remember to leave the scooper in here, which is great. So it's actually probably more interesting if you guys look in this direction at what I'm doing than the other way. So this is the bunny apartments. This is where I've got a handful of bunnies live. Most of the bunnies that live here in the bunny apartments are boys. So this is also where we keep baby bunnies. When we have baby bunnies, they move over here to the bunny apartments. Get you some water. Of course, I put this on top of the water, so you guys get to go here now. He's gonna jump in, say hi to his friends. Fernando's gonna come over there and talk to us. Okay, bunny. Alright, fine. He's gonna hang outside for a bit, I guess. I'll remember that he's running around out there and pick him up and put him back in a little bit later. He doesn't really adventure too far off when he gets out, so he just kind of adventures around the bunny apartments and says hi to everybody and tries to find himself a lady. Because, you know, that's how baby bunnies come about, is bunnies. You accidentally let a bunny out, and then all of a sudden, you now are full of baby bunnies. So with the bunny apartments, these two bunny apartments up top, I think I've told you guys before, these two bunny apartments up top, we have tried, these two we're trying the deep litter tactic with to see how well that goes. And the rest of the bunnies around, we are not doing the deep litter. We're going to do a class on deep litter in the near future. I'm going to do a walkthrough probably this fall. We're going to do a walkthrough in the barn on everything that you need to do for deep litter. Deep litter is just a tactic so you don't have to change out your litter as often, and it also means that you get to they're doing the fertilizing and they're doing the composting. and they're doing the creating. They're creating the awesome soil for you. Sorry, those that haven't watched the thing. These particular headphones, while they are my best headphones, they also tend to cut out from time to time, so I have to restart them. The one downfall to these headphones. The other ones that we tried, they were just no bueno. Sounds awesome in them, and they're great headphones, but just I think with just hooking them up to your phone, they don't quite do what I want them to do. So. Okay. And one more guy over here. So projects that we're working on, projects that you need to be working on when fall comes. So you need to be able to have your plan in place of where everybody's going to go in the winter. So where do your guys plan on, how are you planning on winterizing your animals? So are you going to keep them outside? And if so, how are you going to keep them from, in most cases, for me, my biggest question is how am I going to deal with the ice when the ice comes? So bunnies can deal with the snow not fairly well, but what they don't like is they don't like the crazy ice storms. So what do I do to deal with the ice storms? So you have your plan in place. Our plan here, for those that are wondering, you guys will watch us do it, but one of the things that we do most of the time is we really like to make sure that we keep greenhouse plastic. There we go. Finally, the word caught up in me. We like to keep greenhouse plastic around everything to make sure that the ice doesn't get in. But we do, the one problem with greenhouse plastic is you do need to make sure that the ventilation is good because you don't want it to turn into like a sauna inside there for your bunnies and such like that. So you keep a greenhouse plastic with good insulation, and that works out. That seems to work out very well. With our chickens, we bring all of our chickens in, and then our handy run and such like that, what we do with that is we set that up so that we set the handy run up with greenhouse plastic around, and so that those guys, when they're not out free ranging in the snow, they get to go in there, and then at night they get to stay nice and warm. And the handy run, and we'll go walk on, that'll be next on our list. And in the handy run, the good thing about that is that actually can get very, very warm and toasty during the winter months. I've actually seen huge temperature differences. I've seen it as low as 20 outside, 20 Fahrenheit, and as high as 80 in there. So very, very nice difference. It's just all about absorbing the sun. And so that's a plan that we have to place. You also need to start thinking about what you're going to do. If you're in the winter months, you need to think about what you're going to do about water. How are you going to deal with frozen water? So we have a lot of different tactics that we do. When it comes to frozen water, we're really a big fan of these deli cups, especially double stacking these deli cups. Then you can take the top one out and put the bottom one, and then you put the bottom one in, and then if you need to empty this out because it's completely frozen, or you need to grab a different deli cup and let that one thaw out. They're cheap, easy, and if they break, it's not really a big loss. Where some of the waterers and such like that, I've noticed if you try to deal with those a lot in the winter and those break, not only are you out like the 20 or 30 bucks that it's going to cost you to have that, you've probably spilled water everywhere, and so that makes it even more annoying, because now you got to figure out how you're going to deal with the water spillage that is probably raising the humidity in your cage, because during the winter months you want low humidity. For your chickens, for your rabbits, for any of your animals, you want to keep the humidity level lower so that they don't get that crazy cold chill and such like that. Next, you want to make sure that you have your daily routine. So how I'm walking around, feeding everyone, walking around outside, make sure you have your daily routine set up and how you're going to deal with it. Like, are you going to redo paths? Are you going to put in snow fences to stop the snow from going in particular areas? You just need to know what your daily routine is. Okay, so what happens if there's an ice storm? What happens if, you get a foot of snow? Plan on that daily routine, know what you're going to do, know how you're going to set it up, know how you're going to walk. So what we do is we have a particular path that we take almost every time we go. And I usually carry a snow shovel down here, and sometimes if the snow's really crazy, I will do that. Or if I think it's just going to be a really snowy year, which it has in the past, I'll put up snow fences around the edge of the pathway, and so we don't have to shovel as much. Or if I get lucky, sometimes we get so much snow that I can build snow walls. And the snow walls are cool. It's fun building the snow walls, and so you've got like waist-high snow walls that you're walking through. And so sometimes that does a wonderful job as well, keeping the snow away, and you don't need to even buy a snow fence. Then you have to get your barn winterized. So I am going to set you guys right here for just a second. I'm going to show you guys, because what I'm going to do is I am going to go open those doors right there, just get a little bit more light in here. I usually don't open them if I think it's going to snow crazy, rain a lot. Because if it rains a lot throughout there, then what happens is that can get all that kind of stuff really muddy and gross up there, and not really trying to deal with the crazy muddy grossness right now. So another thing that I suggest always doing is, depending on your lifestyle and how you choose to keep your barn, I like the idea of having the barn cleaned at least once in the spring and once in the fall. So we're getting to the point now where it's about fall cleaning. So what that means is I'll move all those extra cages up there, because we're going to hopefully put hay up there, so I have easy access to hay in here. Those cages will get broken down and put someplace else. They were up there for extra purposes, just in case, because during the summer months, you never know if someone's going to drop off a rescue animal. There's just a lot of different stuff. So being able to easily access those cages, take a thing, wipe them down. Because in a barn with all the chickens and ducks and just the dust, it's always going to get dusty in here. But what I usually do is once in the spring, once in the fall, just do a really good dusting, clean out a lot of the compost on the floor, get that kind of stuff, put some fresh sand and such down. I like to have the floors in the barn set up like a deep litter as well. The reason for that is when I'm ready to clean them out, I know I've got good compost that is ready to go, especially since if you look here on the floor, I have lots of ducks. And such running around. So underneath me right now, there is a hardwood floor. And then on top of that hardwood floor is the rubber roofing. And I put that down on everything. And then we put a layer of sand down. And then we put some hay and some wood chips. And then the rest is dirt from people carrying in from the poop and such like that. And then we get to dig this out. This ages in here and gets compressed and that kind of stuff. And then this becomes really good for next year's garden plots. So when we're ready to clean this out, I usually clean this out. Sometimes it depends. It's a two-stage thing. Sometimes I clean it out in the early summer. Sometimes I clean it out in the late fall. It kind of depends on what other priorities we have. But just the general area of the barn to get us ready, so we know where all of our containers are, water containers, that kind of stuff. Any extra feeders, just in case feeders break and such like that, making sure all that's well organized in here. And then the other thing is button everything up, making sure that we don't want this airtight by any means. We always want your barn to have a decent flow, but you also don't want a lot of energy leaks. and so you'll figure out where you're going to have your heat leak and that kind of stuff, but also with having the exhaust of being able to let a barn breathe. And because what you want to do is you want to keep the humidity low, and you just want this barn to be able to breathe properly. So that's another thing that you have to think about in the fall. And again, yes, I know we're talking specifically about my particular region. And my particular region is areas that it snows. And so these are important things that I need to spend time thinking about. Okay, so I have to fill this up for the bunnies down that way. So let me show you. You guys probably want to see some baby chickens, because who doesn't want to see baby chickens? So here is a little baby chicken. Just peeping away. I'm gonna put him back. Got some younger chickens in here as well. We got some young guineas. We just have a nice mix of variety of stuff in there. The one thing I've learned is that when you have, this is important, when you have some hens that are really good at raising babies, even if they're not necessarily good at incubating, but they're really good at raising babies, it's good to keep all of the babies together. Yes, Sonny, that is a silky. That's one of the silkies that is going to be more. It's going to have a lot of different colors in it. Here is another. This is another silky. You can see this guy's got a lot more the prominent of the black skin, and you can see the prominent of the. It's already kind of fluffy. This guy is going to, she's probably going to be a splash. So what that means is she's going to be gray and black. So a nice gray and black silky. I'll show you what, if I can grab her, I'll show you what this one will look like as an adult. This is what that one will look like as an adult. That little white one, or that little like grayish one. So you guys can see she's got black and white. She's kind of peppered colored, so this is called splash. So this is what those guys turn out to be. Splash are one of my favorites. So, but one thing I love about silkies is they are some of the calmest chickens. So one of the trick about raising chickens is as long as both of their feet feel like they're on the ground, or feel like they're things, so they need to either be like on your finger or on a stick, or right now I'm holding a flat hand, and so both of her feet are down. So she's a lot more calm. That kind of stuff. That's one of the things with silkies. So let me grab her. You can also hold silkies like this, but if you do, they like to flap their wings a lot. And I'm not trying to stress them out. That does stress them out a little bit. And I try to keep my chickens as chill and mellow as possible. Okay, so there's my scooper. So right now we're doing a really big, we're mostly raising, we're really mostly focusing on silkies this particular year. Part of the reason we're mostly doing a focus on silkies is because one, that's the kind of the babies that kind of secretly hatched and had a whole lot of babies of them, but also they are some of the most chill out of the guys that you can have. So silkies are pretty calm. They don't deal don't stress out too much about too many things. You can if you train 2 roos, you can keep 2 roos together in one cage. Sometimes you might even be able to keep more than 2 in one cage, but usually that's pushing it. They don't really mess with babies. Actually, sometimes roos are even more protective and are better at parenting than the hens are, because sometimes the hens are mostly just focused about having the little babies, and the hens are focused on the eggs, and they're not necessarily focused on making sure that the young guys are knowing where they need to go and what food they need to eat and such like that. So and I just like silkies. They're just fun. They're just all around fun chickens to raise. So, but I guess it's all depending on what you kind of, your preference, what you want. They're okay egg layers. I by no means would say they are the best egg layers by any means, but they're okay egg layers. They lay eggs pretty good. So, I mean, they lay eggs pretty much the same way most chickens do. They just happen to be a little bit more broody than most chickens. And the other perk of silkies, probably my favorite, my number one go-to on why I suggest having silkies, at least having a couple silky hens in the mix, is silkies will incubate anything. So we raise our guineas under silkies. Sometimes we raise some of our duck eggs. When I had quail and things of that sort, chikars and such like that, they got raised under the silkies. The silkies are just, they will pretty much incubate anything, and that's what's great. They're not really picky. They don't really have a now other chickens, if the egg is a different shape or the egg is too large or too small, sometimes they'll just immediately kick those out. Not silkies. I've seen pictures of silkies trying to incubate an ostrich egg. So they are just dedicated little guys, just really focusing on trying to raise stuff. So I would say that silkies are a must in all homesteads, in all homestead situations, because incubators and that kind of stuff can get expensive, and having silkies cuts down the expense of having to worry about having an incubator. And a brooder, because they also are going to be raising. They're going to be raising the babies for you. So you've got a built-in incubator and a built-in brooder. So just that little bit of feed that they cost. They are hard workers. Totally, absolutely worth having just a few. And being that silkies are bantams, they also don't eat as much as large chickens do. So you guys might see the Christmas lights and you might hear the music. That is a thing that I say is kind of important for raising animals. I like to use the Christmas lights because they see in a very different light spectrum than we do, but it also keeps them, if they've grown up and they've been around Christmas lights and lights their entire life, it keeps them a little bit calmer. I've read a lot of the information, and personally not seen any negative to having a small amount of light on them 24/7. I wouldn't leave like giant blaring, Walmart lights or anything on them, but just like a little bit of extra light, just kind of like a night light and such on them during the evening or during the not so sunny parts. Definitely has I think more benefit than harm. Plus, what it does is it also will keep it so that they don't slow down their egg laying. They will lay most of the year for you. You'll have a little bit of slower times, but in general, most of the year you will get good amounts of eggs from them. Like, if your chicken's molting or if there's other stuff going on, of course that is going to affect your egg production. So what you guys see is these are my chicken tractors. So these guys are these are the little enclosures that the little families live in. In most years, except for this year because it's been so wet, in most years these cages go outside and they get moved around the yard. We've got some ideas for next year. We'll see how well that works out. What I think we're going to do is next year we're going to build some permanent outside enclosures so that if we have another wet season like we did this year, these guys don't get stuck inside as much as they did this year, and we can have little places, little families, little neighborhoods that they can go on vacation and visit once a week and then come back in, and that way they can get all of their perks of the sunshine and that kind of stuff, and without having to worry about them areas getting flooded and us having to go through drastically rearranging everyone. If we've got some place where they can visit for a couple days and such like that, and then come back into their enclosure, and then a new family goes out and visits, that will definitely make everything a lot easier. We are also going to, even though I have tons of silkies right now, we're going to be lowering our chicken population a little bit. We're purposely not breeding a lot of the stuff. Right now we got a bunch of silkies. Main reason we got a bunch of silkies is I know some people that might be interested in getting chickens this spring, and so I have some silkies that I'd like to do some trading and some bartering or some gifting, and try to just help some people out and do some exchanges, or just, if somebody really needs silkies and really wants to get in but can't afford some of the startup, we'll work together and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of the reason I'm doing silkies, because I think silkies is a good first chicken for most people to see and to get used to. So they also have probably the largest lack of margin of error. So usually you can mess up just a little bit with silkies, and it's not going to affect them. Where there is some other chickens that are far more sensitive to that kind of stuff. Now, some chickens are not sensitive at all, and some are a little bit more sensitive. Thank you, buddy. Silkies happen to be somebody that's not so sensitive to margins of error, which is good. Let that guy run around just for a few minutes. And let's get this guy down here. Okay. Thanks for the follow. Again, guys, if you have any questions, if there's anything you'd like to know, I've been raising chickens for 20 years. I think it's been about 20 years now. I initially started raising chickens when I lived in the suburbs. Even when it was not allowed, raise some chickens up there in the suburbs with my pirate chickens. And when I moved here to West Virginia, here in the mountains of Appalachia, I was super excited about being able to get chickens again and not have to worry about necessarily hiding them, and just kind of do a couple of the fun tactics and such that I really wanted to focus on, and giving them more space and a lot more things. For those that are wondering, I'm a gentleman farmer, and if you don't know what that means, that just means that I do not eat any of my animals. While I do talk about homesteading, and will be more than happy to talk about how some animals are better meat animals, and some of the rabbits are good meat rabbits, and some of the different types of things. I have no problem with people that choose to eat their animals. It is just not the direction I personally have chose to make, but that doesn't mean that I am opposed. I probably am a little bit of a hypocrite in that way, but I just don't have the ability to take a life. At least an innocent life. Now, maybe if something was attacking me, that would be a completely different story. Actually, it would be a completely different story. I'm a war pacifist, but not a sucker. So, I do own firearms. I do know plenty of ways to protect myself in other scenarios. Usually when I go hiking and such like that, I do make sure that if it's in an area where I can't carry a firearm, I do have other ways to protect against predators and such like that. So well, bonjour. That's about all the French I know. Well, I hope you still, even if you still don't understand everything I'm saying, I do hope you do get to enjoy a little bit of what I'm talking about. So, I think French is a beautiful language. I tried to take French when I was a kid, and I made a beautiful language sound horrid. I dated a French girl. She lived in Paul. And she was here in the States for a while. So, right now, you guys, I don't know if you guys, probably don't have the camera set up so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. But I'm filling up waters. So I have a waterer down below me. And I'm filling up the guy's water here on the ground so that everybody has clean, fresh water. So that's kind of the tactic of what we're doing right now. So we do, yes, I'll show you what each one of these cages I will put outside in the summer months so they can go around, and then when it gets cold in the winter, I'll bring them back in. The reason that these guys didn't go out this year is the rain, a very wet season. Lots of flooding. I mean flooding as flooding as there can be in the mountains. So you probably didn't get to see it, but here's some bebes. Some silky is what these are. So these are baby silkies. If you want to see what they look like when they become adults. And these are what they look like when they become adults. Sorry, duck. Okay, let's go grab some water outside because I am out of water. And as you see, it is raining. Well, it's actually very lightly sprinkling. I don't know if you can quite tell. So the guys, you wanted to see some of the guys outside. So here is the ducks and such that are outside. You might see a couple bunnies. Might see a couple bunnies running around. That is a Fernando. And there are my guineas, a couple of them. So we are heading down to the water spot so I can get my stuff watered up. So I have two underground cisterns. So you guys, if you don't know what cisterns are, some of you have asked in the past. This one just happens to be open. So cistern is a hole in the ground full of cement that you collect water in. So these are spring fed and rain fed. So that's what you see there. So I need to put you guys over here for just a second so that I can plug you in. And start filling up the cistern. So I did bad timing. I should have got all this water done first before the rain. But so be life. I'm kind of hoping right now I can get away with one. That's what we're going to look for, is hopefully I can get away with one water thing. If not, I'll come back and get it in a bit. But I don't know if you can tell, if you can see how much it is increasing raining outside. See if I get a little closer. The rain is increasing. Let me turn the camera down just a little bit more. Don't want it to hit the touchscreen up front while we're waiting for my cistern to fill up. But that's mountain life. Again, like I said, it's important to watch the weather. The best way to watch the weather here is to just look up and see the sky. When you start seeing the clouds roll in and such like that, that's how you know. So I am in the United States. I am in the state of West Virginia. And I am in the little town of Flat Top. So if you are nosy and you want to see, you can if you type in exclamation point and the letter M, you will be able to it should send you a link to my nonprofit, and that sends a link to my house, and so you guys can see, those that are interested in seeing where I live, and maybe you've never looked at all the stuff here in West Virginia and in the Appalachian Mountains here in this mountain range that I live in. Mavis Manor is the easiest way to find me on Google Maps and such like that. But if you type in exclamation point M, you can see it'll give you links. I believe that is the link to the website. You know, I should I've been doing this for so long. I should know all this stuff, but I don't think I don't think I can actually on that center right now. I don't think I can type it in. Let me tie my shoe and let's head on. Let's head on into the barn as I continue to get rain. So okay. Actually, it would be more exciting to see this way. We have had a lot of rain this year. The most rain I have seen in a very, very long time. This should be our dry time of year, and it's been raining very regularly, even though we should be in our dry season. Okay, back in the barn. Let me get these guys watered, and then it doesn't matter, it's raining, I'm already soaked. So after I get these guys watered, we'll do a quick little outdoor tour for those that might not have seen what's happening on the farm in a while. But everybody water first, so. The thing that makes me concerned about how much rain we're having already is usually when it rains in August, we get lots of snow. Heavy snow. So it can also get really cold here. So for you, let's see. It's been as cold here at about -30°C. So maybe a little colder, but yeah, -30°C. So yes, I absolutely do steal the rain. If it's gonna fall here, I'm gonna collect it and I'm gonna use it. It's my rain. Oh, you guys haven't met them yet. Let me introduce you to some of the baby ducks. So there are some of the young ducks that are living in here that kind of got hatched and appeared here. We weren't trying to raise ducks, but it's just kind of what happens. Ducks, especially Muscovy ducks, they are spectacular at finding ways to have lots of babies. So, just how it is. One of the things you gotta get used to on the farm is two things you gotta get used to on the farm: death and birth. It really balances out a lot. You get very used to seeing things die, and you get very used to seeing things born, and it doesn't lose, neither loses its importance. It's kind of just it adds an interesting charm to life. It helps, I personally think it helps ground you. Ugh. This door doesn't want to close. There we go. Got the door. The door did not want to close. So. Okay, cool. I'm always a fan of learning sayings and such in other languages. You have 4 hens? Okay. Hey, having any amounts of hens or any amounts of chickens, even if someone only has 1, it's a good start. I've said, people, even if all you ever grow is one tomato, or you make 1 fresh loaf of bread, you are becoming just a little bit more self-sufficient, and you are relying more on yourself and learning skills that are important to know. Okay, everyone is watered. Two eggs per day, nice. See, that's 2 eggs. I was just having a conversation with one of my friends about this on our Discord. We were talking about on the Discord. We were talking about the trick that they want to try to trick us into, not raising our own animals or that kind of stuff. And so I'm all for whatever somebody, if someone wants to raise one thing or someone wants to raise many animals, it's just it's a good thing. So here's my Arkansas black apple tree. It's appling very well. Look, very, very nice apples. Not quite ready yet. Ready soon. Here's my swell pond for where the ducks live and such. So I'm putting in some more sandbags and such there to build up the bank so the water doesn't flow down as much that way. Sylvia is probably in her bed, so we can't see her. We'll peek over just to see if she happens to be around. And anybody out there that is wanting to get into homesteading, raising animals, make bread, anything of that sort, you are always welcome to ask me questions and such like that. Yes, everything you see here used to look like a hayfield. So 17 years ago, I'll actually show you what it used to look like 17 years ago. So let's walk back over this way. And we will go peek over, and I'll show you what everything, including the barn that we went in, and all of the trees. Everything is homemade, or I fostered or planted myself. If you guys want to see the path we're walking down. By the way, guys, if anybody is interested in joining the Discord, like I mentioned earlier, if you want to learn about, if you have questions, comments, you want to learn a little bit about homesteading, or you just want to have a group of people to hang out with, even if it's just sit and listen or whatever, my Discord is, you can type in !Discord, or you can type in, it's discord.gg and xDrFirefly. So we have a little bunny right there. So before before all of those trees were planted, this is what the backyard looked like. So I planted all of those trees, and that's my hay field. That those that have watched me for a while know that I did not get a chance to do the hay. And if you want to see up the mountain, there's the back mountain on this beautiful, slightly rainy day here in Flat Top. Yes, it is a very large parcel. I don't know if you guys use acres. I'm not actually sure of the French measurements, but I have 33 acres here that we work. Most of it is pasture. Actually, about 10 acres is pasture. 10 acres is hay fields. About 5 acres is other. And then the other 5 or 7 is just kind of edge. So a lot of junk and such like that. So these are my overgrown garden beds. So blackberries. And I had peas growing in here, but the animals came and ate them. Thunder. It's actually 32.98, but yes, 33. Part of the reason I say 33 is because of the joke with all of our friends. But yes, about yeah, in the vicinity of 33 acres. Round up. So this is my, what I'm very excited about this is my asparagus patch. And there is tons and tons of asparagus, and I just planted it this year. And the asparagus just took off in here. This was really a good spot for asparagus. So we're heading down this way. So we're gonna go walk over to the bee yard. By the way, guys, this is goldenrod. So some people confuse this with ragweed. This is actually goldenrod. Goldenrod is absolutely spectacular for bees. It really, really helps. It really adds a lot of pollen for the honeybees, and they absolutely thrive by having goldenrod. Ragweed, which I don't think there is any ragweed in bloom. I'm looking around to see if there's any ragweed in bloom. I don't currently see any ragweed in bloom just around here yet. Ragweed is what a lot of people have allergy issues with, but also spectacular for bees. And if you eat your ragweed, your goldenrod honey, it will help reduce your allergies to them. So it is a natural remedy. Right now, I am just working on doing my herbalist apprenticeship, and I'm learning that kind of stuff, but hopefully within the next year or so, I will feel comfortable calling myself an herbalist. I'm a survivalist and a wildcrafter. I know what I can eat out in the bush and fun things like that, but I don't know how to make all the mixtures and such that I'd like to yet, to be able to justify being able to make all of my own medicine. Right now I can make quite a bit of my own medicine, but not all of it. Yes, we are going to go see the honeybees in just a second. We're going to walk over to my bee yard and check out my honeybees. My wonderful card collection. Not a good hillbilly if you don't have tons of junk cars. So my hay baler. Are working cars. To. So right up there is where we're walking to. That is my apiary, my bee yard. Even though it's still raining a little bit, the bees are buzzing. So these are this hive and this hive are both carnies. This hive right here is that's the wild caught bees. This hive here, and look at this guy. He's got some right there. He's got some stuff in his pockets. So we got the nice bees hanging out right here. You guys want to see what's going on with my finger? So this is a blue bee split. These are the blue bees right here. This is another split of the blue bees. This is the split I did of the porch bees, of the Saskatraz. You guys can see them doing their thing in there because they know that it's the raining and such like that. So over here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bees. I have one hive. Hive 9 is over by the barn. And we'll go to hive 10 in 1 second. This is my pear tree. I don't know if you guys can see. These pears are ready. So pears, wonderful. They're perfect. These pears right now melt in your mouth. So I have my partner. She helps out with a lot of stuff. She's also the main thing. And then here are what we refer to as the porch bees. So my door, porch bees, the walkway to my house. We got it handled. I mean, I would like to get interns in the future, but one day perhaps. So here's the porch bees. Still a lot of drakes. I mean, drones. There's a drone. Drone right there. You can kind of see where he's got the big shiny butt. That's a boy bee. It's about getting late in the years. Actually, there's another one right here. You can see that bee kicking out. You can see that bee, how he's dragging that bee away. The bees are telling the drones that it's time for them to leave, that they need to get out of the hive, and the drones are not ready to get out of the hive. But this late in the year, there's really no reason for the drones anymore because the hive is not going to split. and so they don't need the boys. And boy bees, drones like that one I tried to pick up, but I missed him. Drones actually don't have stingers. So drones actually can't sting you, because where they have their stinger is where their reproduction organs are instead. And so can't sting. Yeah, it's not your house anymore. Bees are very feminists. So I do want to, some of you guys like to see my historic house. So let me back over this way and I'll turn around to show you my house. I'm also proud of it because I like old. I'm a big fan of old things. So there is my house. Queen Anne Victorian, built in around 1897. We will go down here so I can show you a little bit more, so you can see it a little bit better from the angle over here. It's my ducks hang out front. And the road I live on, nice gravel road. I guess you can't, I guess the tree's growing so well, so there's my gazebo. Let's see if we can get it in this angle. If I go over here around the tree, there you go. There we go. There's my tower, the Victorian tower on my lovely Victorian house. It's amazing that people dedicated so much time making this so nice throughout the course of when it was originally built. I wish we still built things this nice today. Rarely do we see people, put so much awesome time in their structure that they choose to live in. And so preservation and making sure that old structures stay built is kind of one of the things I think is rather important in this day and age. I think I wish more people would preserve the nice things that exist in the world. And one of the, if I do ever get the chance, if I ever, strike it rich and make lots of money, I will go through and definitely try to preserve more old, especially Victorians, like the 1890s style. I just would really enjoy that. Well, anyways, guys, if you want to join the Discord, !Discord, I'll be doing shows like this regularly now every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Sunday, except for days like this when it's raining, we'll be working on the bees. And starting in October, we will be doing a homesteading show. So Tuesday nights, we'll be doing some homesteading shows and talking about homesteading and just stuff like gardening and such like that, and maybe some things dealing with how to survive all of the silliness that's going to occur, and not just the silliness that is occurring geopolitical and that kind of stuff, but also with the sun and weather and such like that. We can all talk about some different tactics that we can all do to thrive, because that's the idea, guys. Together we can thrive. It doesn't matter how crazy things get. With a good mental fortitude and the ability to just be hopeful, we can thrive in whatever things are going to be thrown at us. And so that's going to be our October show, and throughout the course of the winter until spring, we'll be doing a show like that. And again, you guys can check it here on DLive and other places in the future. I also have, if you, in the description below, you can find other places that I also do things, but DLive, it should always be here on DLive. It's just something that this is a place I really just enjoy streaming. But there's other places. Some of you might be watching this on all the different places that I stream. Feel free to always comment and such like that. So, no, I understood exactly. Understand exactly. We as humans, we as men, and even women as strong women, and just people in general need to find ways to change this paradigm shift. We need to make the world, focus on yourself first, make yourself better, then make your family better, make your community better, then you can make the world better. And it starts with yourself, and it starts with your friends and your family after that. And just be a really good example. We're all going to have faults. We're all going to make mistakes. That's okay. Don't punish yourselves too bad on your mistakes. Try to learn from them. Try to be better. Even if you fail every time, just keep moving forward. Keep trying to be better. And that's how we do it. And we do it together. We do it with support from each other. The one thing that in this digital world that we live in, it gives us the ability to interconnect with people from all over. Our new best friend might live on the other side of the planet. And we can work together to achieve awesomeness and to be and to do good things. And somebody's advice from a faraway place might be enough for you to help spark an interest in you. So anyways, friends, thank you guys all for joining. Thank you guys all for visiting. And yeah, so again, remember exclamation point Discord or discord.gg/xDrFirefly. If you're interested in anything else I do, xDrFirefly is the easiest way to find me on all socials. And thank you guys all for watching, and you guys have a wonderful rest of the day. Until tomorrow, it's Doc. Adios.